CNBC. You can hear Bill Gunderson's daily insight into the market at 7 a.m. weekdays, right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
This is 1050 AM, KCAA Loma Linda, and 106.5 FM, Yucaipa.
Small gains today, but don't look for too much movement up or down until the Federal Reserve, which begins a two-day meeting today, ends that meeting tomorrow afternoon. That's when we find out if interest rates are going up or not. A CNBC survey shows most respondents do not think the Fed will raise rates this month, but May. A quick look at earnings reports today. Procter & Gamble made more money than hoped because it raised prices. Sales fell at Johnson & Johnson, but it made more money thanks to a write-off for restructuring. Polaris sold fewer off-road machines. Coach sold more Stuart Weitzman shoes. Sprint stock up 14% right now because it lost less money last quarter because it cut more costs and signed up more customers. And a new baby stroller aims to make life easier for parents. The Smart Bee has an electric engine, a bottle warmer, and built-in music. The price tag, $3,000 when it goes on sale next year. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC Radio.
If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Call 877-319-6988. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Call 877-319-6988. Programming starting as little as $29.99, plus access to thousands of movies and TV shows. Stream to your TV, smartphone, or tablet. Call 877-319-6988. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get Dish today.
There are times being a genius would really come in handy.
All right, since Jess and I only ordered 3 drinks and split the chicken, and you guys ate about 3/4 of the guac, but Tim only left us $15, not including tax and tip, I'm thinking Hal and Karen split a third of the bill 2 ways, so you guys each take on 12%. Does that seem fair?
But thankfully, you don't need to be a genius to do your own taxes, because TurboTax's Explain Why feature helps you understand the math behind your refund. Intuit TurboTax. Taxes done smarter. Feature availability varies by product and platform.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
Your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Ontario, we have slow traffic on the 60 westbound between the 15 and Milliken. The 60 west is slow in pockets from the 15 to the 57. The 210 west is slow from Haven to San Dimas. The 10 west is slow in pockets from Cedar to 57. In Riverside, slow traffic on the 91 westbound between Pierce Street and McKinley Street. The 91 west is slow from Pierce to Green River. The 71 south is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cahalco Road. Also, the 15 north is slow from Wyrick to Cahalco. In Moreno Valley, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and Eastridge Avenue. The 215 north is slow from Alessandro to MLK. And finally, in Corona, on the 91 westbound at Grand Boulevard, that on-ramp is still closed and will stay closed until January 30th. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
With your Monday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. California Transportation Commission approved a reduction in projected funding for the state's transportation program by $754 million over the next 5 years. Commission's action marks the largest scaling back of the state's transportation program since the creation of the current funding structure nearly 20 years ago. It was taken after a review of current and projected financial information from several sources. Hantavirus has surfaced in Riverside County, according to health officials last week, that 8 of 13 rodents collected in December from San Timoteo Canyon in the Young Glove Preserve near Beaumont tested positive. To date, there are no documented human cases of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome originating within Riverside County. Hantavirus may be transmitted by inhaling tiny droplets contaminated with the virus from deer mouse droppings and urine. City leaders are meeting with business owners to discuss safety measures in the wake of 2 separate pallet yard fires that erupted within days of each other. Investigators have determined that Sunday night's second alarm fire at a pallet yard in Fontana was arson. The blaze in the 15,600 block of Boyle Avenue was less than 2 miles from where firefighters fought a pallet fire last Wednesday. Investigators pursuing several leads in the search for 3 inmates who masterminded the brazen escape from a Southern California maximum security jail. They're considered dangerous. Meanwhile, the separate probe launched into how those inmates managed to obtain the tools to cut through the steel bars and plumbing tunnels make it to the roof. I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. Glad everybody's here joining us today. Before we get started, I want to do what I always do and let everybody know all the ways they can listen to KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Of course, you can find us at 1050 on the AM dial and 106.5 on the FM dial. You can also find us at kcaaradio.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You can find there the embedded Ustream feed. You can click a button to listen directly online. If you've got an Apple device, you can listen with the TuneIn app. And on the TuneIn app, you'll find podcasts and everything, but we are listed as the morning show. So click the morning show to listen to our podcast. If you've got an Android device, you can listen at kcaaexpress.com. If you want to catch podcasts of this show, you're not up at 6 to 7 a.m. You want to listen to podcasts, you can go to kcaamorningshow.com. That's kcaamorningshow.com and listen to those. And if you've got none of the above and you want to listen, you can call to listen at 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. So big news happened in San Bernardino last night in regards to their bankruptcy. So outsourcing their refuse department and outsourcing the fire department. And Tobin, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, actually, Todd just said he couldn't hear me. So
I can hear you now.
I hear you now.
Awesome. Okay, well, the San Bernardino Fire Union did reach a tentative global settlement with the city, and this is big news. So according to The Sun, the city and one of its major consistent legal adversaries, the fire union, have a tentative agreement that ends all of their legal disputes. The city council approved it during a closed session meeting Monday, according to city attorney Gary Sines. The terms of the agreement will be available to the public no later than Thursday, when it is included in a packet for the city council's final approval on February 1st, according to a news release that was sent out last night. The proposed settlement ends nearly 9 years of legal disputes, including all pre- and post-litigation claims and disputes, according to a news release quoting officials from both the city and the fire union. The San Bernardino City Professional Firefighters has come to the table with an equitable settlement that clearly is in the best interest of the city and the firefighters union and gives the parties the best chance of moving forward in a fair and reasonable manner, said Corey Glave, the fire union attorney, in the news release. City council members that were approached Monday said they couldn't comment on the agreement, but Sines said it was approved on a 6-0 vote with Councilman John Valdivia absent at the time. If ratified by the council and the union, the agreement would eliminate any union opposition to the city's plan to be annexed into the county fire district, which would effectively outsource the 137-year-old fire department to the county. In one of U.S. bankruptcy Judge Meredith Jury's few rulings that were in favor of the fire union at the expense of city officials, she ruled last September that the city had not met its legal obligation to bargain with the fire union before outsourcing the fire department. The city would then have to begin following the meet and confer process, but would continue moving forward with the outsourcing plan, Jury said at the time. There is a hearing of the Local Agency Formation Commission, that's LAFCO, about the city's annexation that is scheduled for 9 a.m. this Wednesday. The plan includes a parcel tax of $143 per year at the time that the City Council approved the plan in a 4-3 vote, and it will eventually rise to $148 for fiscal year 2016-2017. And this plan, of course, has drawn some resident opposition, but the LAFCO staff supports the proposal in an analysis that was included with Wednesday's agenda. Now, I'm just going to throw in a personal aside here. This is a major component of the city's restructuring plan under bankruptcy. And by outsourcing the fire department and instituting this parcel tax, it guarantees revenue for the county to take over the fire department. So this is really essential to getting the city out of bankruptcy. But continuing back with the article, it says, ultimately the city's proposed transfer of its fire department through annexation to the county fire is the best and most fiscally responsible alternative for serving their residents, according to LAFCO staff. This plan is important to the city in that it provides the means to return to the city's coffers an estimated $7 to $8 million for use in addressing other service deficiencies that currently exist, such as police protection, roads, parks, or even street lighting. So, if you're upset with the potholes, if your street lights are out on your street, if you're not getting a good, quick police response because our police department numbers are greatly diminished, this is an essential element to getting those services back up to where they need to be. And I think it's really important. So LAFCO's conclusion is right on the mark. Although annexation comes with a special tax to property owners of $148.23 per year, those are funds that go directly to improving fire services, and it'll also help settle up with the fire union and allow us to redirect revenue that would otherwise go to litigation or status quo fire services, programs like crime prevention, parks, community services, and economic development. The county fire chief, Mark Hartwig, is also quoted in the news release pledging to provide sustainable emergency services. He says, "We understand the city's need to shift services to county fire and have developed a plan that will rebuild and reinvest in not only incident response service, but all services associated with the district," Hartwig said. This includes fire prevention, dispatch and communications, administrations, facilities, and equipment.
Okay, so I have a question about this.
Yeah.
What if the residents don't pass the parcel tax? I mean, don't they have to vote on that?
They do, but it's not the residents that vote. It's property owners. It's a property tax, so only property owners. And the way it works is they actually, I forget exactly, it's a certain percentage of people have to send in, they basically get a letter saying, do you oppose this? And a certain percentage of them have to send it back in order to put it to a ballot or something. So there's a process that goes. It's not like a normal election. And so right now the folks that are opposed are trying to get people to fill out the form that basically says they're opposed to it. And it's difficult because, again, it goes to just property owners, not regular voters. It's a different kind of election.
So what happens if it doesn't pass?
That's a good question. I suspect, based on my past history with the city, that the whole thing would fall through because county won't take over unless they have a guaranteed source of revenue, and that would put the city right back in the middle of the bankruptcy, probably having to come up with another plan to figure out where they're going to get $7 to $8 million a year. That's a big hole. That's a big hole.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, and can you refresh people's memory as to why they said they need this $148.23 when they already have revenue that they're paying the fire department? If they just take that revenue and shift it to now pay the county, wouldn't that then cover that cost?
Well, the problem is, I think, that they can't guarantee that they could pay the county. The way the county is set up, they get their money from their property owners directly. And so this is, in order to actually provide the services, they have to create a fire district, and that includes this kind of funding mechanism. And I'll be honest, it's kind of complicated. I wish I could say I had a clear picture of exactly the how and the why. My understanding is this is the legal process they go through for how they set one of these things up.
Right.
But primarily it comes back to the fact the county, because the city's bankrupt, they need a secondary guaranteed source of income, or they can't provide the services.
Right. It sounds like they basically don't trust that the city will actually pay them the money, even if the city has the money, because their history has shown that they're not particularly good with their money.
Yeah.
And so they're saying they want a revenue that will go directly to the county, so the county knows that they will have the money to cover the services, because they're not going to foot the bill.
Yeah.
They'll find themselves in the same situation as the city.
Yeah, well, exactly. And if the city, God forbid, goes bankrupt again or starts having financial trouble again, the county doesn't want to be the one that's on the hook, providing these services and not getting paid. So, this is smart on their part, but I also think it helps stabilize the city.
Right. I agree.
It's just a smart way to do this, and I hope the voters see that. I hope the property owners see that.
Well, and $148 a year,
yeah,
to ensure that you have fire coverage is really not a lot of money.
Yeah,
and that money can only be used for fire services.
Yeah,
and so it's not like it's going to go into the black hole that is the city's general fund.
Yeah, exactly.
Has there been any talk about then, if the county takes over, that then there will be some duplicate of administrative positions, and that maybe some of the administrative positions at the top end won't be needed anymore as well?
That's where the savings comes.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what's happening. In fact, I think our fire management team is basically, will be dismantled, as the county has their own people already doing those jobs that'll take that over. So I think that's actually where the loss of positions are going to be. I don't think we're going to lose firefighters. I think we're going to lose administrators. And
I feel for them, I really do.
Yeah.
But if you can't pay what you don't have.
Yeah. So the fire chief, the battalion chiefs, those are the guys that are probably, and some of them will probably get absorbed. I mean, the county is big; they've got positions as people leave. I'm sure that those guys will be given opportunities to either take a lower level position, or if they have one that's a lateral, they'll have an opportunity to move over to it. But the county has people that do those jobs. So
now there was a similar resolution of the trash outsourcing, or actually they're further down the process. Can you talk about that one, Tobin?
Actually, I'm still looking for that. I didn't see that article.
Okay. I will talk about it. The major component of the city's bankruptcy exit plan that comes with guaranteed revenue of nearly $18 million by April 2017 received unanimous city council approval Monday, with the final approval of a contract to outsource trash and related services to Burtech. Over the 10-year period of the agreement, that's guaranteed payments to the city of nearly $38 million, plus another $50 million in estimated revenue that's based on current revenue and how much can be recycled, according to Richard Tagore Irwin, owner of R3 Consulting, who helps the city with the outsourcing process. Customer rates will remain at 2009 levels. That's $22.84 per month for standard residential service until July 2017. Future increases will be based on the local consumer price index, but capped at 5% per year, according to the agreement. The 58 full-time employees who work in those positions will be offered full-time agreements with six others remaining city employees to manage the contract and provide field inspection. The agreement was a 6-0 with Councilman Benito Barrios absent and was applauded by the employees present. The agreement, which includes $500,000 from Burtech to distribute among those employees to help with the transitioning, follows November's vote to move forward with outsourcing solid waste, recycling, street sweeping, and right-of-way services. Councilman Fred Charette, who opposed the initial move, voted in support Monday after a number of pointed questions. If the team managing the outsourcing was honest, there were some flawed areas with how we got to where we are, Charette said early in the morning. I have no doubt that Burtech is probably going to be approved, and they're an excellent company and will do an excellent job for residents of the city of San Bernardino. And that was from Fred Charette. He referred to a letter from another company, Athens Services, that contended in November that their proposal would bring more revenue to the city. Deputy City Manager Bill Manis said Monday that Burtech made the best proposal. They had the strongest technical proposal. They have experience with similarly sized cities. They have a robust right-of-way program, a good employee transition program, and over the 10-year term, their proposal is $5.6 million in revenue to the city, higher than the next highest proposer. So the council also voted to notify Republic Industry that the city's agreement for materials processing won't be renewed when the contract ends, at which point Burtech will take over. So Tobin, kind of talk about what this means for the city.
So again, this is an interesting one because this kind of service, waste management, is its own separate fund within the city. So it generates revenue. People pay their trash bills, but that money doesn't go into the general fund. It's only used for this particular service. So in terms of the bankruptcy, this was kind of a separate item. But what's interesting is when you outsource it, now you turn it into a revenue source for the general fund. And the way that they've actually structured the contract, I believe, is going to add an extra $2 million per year to the general fund through payments that will come from the company that got the contract. So you basically took something that was independent on its own, and you've now turned it into a way to put more revenue into the city's general fund that can now be used for streets, police, parks, and all that other stuff. So this is a smart move. You also get rid of the liability of the retirement pay and all the other things that the other costs that the city would have had to have dealt with those employees. And so this one is a really smart move. And the way they structured it is instead of getting just one big lump sum up front, they've structured it so that they have a very solid revenue stream for many years to come at a very good rate, a much higher rate than normal. So they were smart in that, again, they instead of taking the big lump up front that would have been spent really quickly, they've got themselves something that's going to hopefully help keep the city steady for a long time.
Okay, so here is my question. It's my understanding that the bankruptcy deficit. Oh, and you know what? I realized that we've just blown through our break. Why don't we take a break now, and I'll ask this question after Todd's Tech Time. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog, or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
And now it's time for another Support San Bernardino Spotlight.
Hi, my name is George Hahn. I am the Senior Minister at the Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. In the next few weeks, we would like to support San Bernardino by highlighting the outstanding things about our city. Today's program features
Dennis Baxter from Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you, George. I'm very proud that Habitat for Humanity San Bernardino area has been serving the residents of the area since 1992, so that's 24 years of building homes and building hope. Each partner family participates in our own curriculum in the greater San Bernardino area that provides guidance and resources to a successful long-term experience as being a homeowner. We have financial literacy classes that they go through so they understand the difference between being a homeowner and being a renter. Our Brush with Kindness program helps out low-income folks with, simple chores around the house. And, of course, our Restore, located in Redlands, is a real part of our fundraising effort. So it's building homes, it's building hope. Folks can give us a call at 909-478-1176 or habitatsb.org.
This program was underwritten by Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. If you would like information about today's program, please contact me, Reverend George, by calling 909-883-7171. That's 909-883-7171.
Looking for a great cover band or one of the world's top tribute artists for your corporate event? You've come to the right place. David Levin Entertainment, Southern California's premier entertainment company, serving the Inland Empire, Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Call us at 650-282-5009 or visit us online and watch the videos at davidlevinent.com. That's davidlevinent.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-643-6931 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-643-6931 to take your call now. Call 1-800-643-6931. That's 1-800-643-6931. Again, 1-800-643-6931.
Wishing for a little bit more information? You'll get it all here on KCAA Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. So we decided to bump Todd's Tech Time to after our next break so I can ask the question, continue this conversation because this is important. It's a big deal here with the city of San Bernardino. So before the break, I started asking the question about my understanding was when the city got a big lump sum, was thinking about taking the big lump sum with trash.
Yeah.
It was because there's like a $45 million deficit in the budget, and so they needed the big lump sum to make all of that whole. Am I misunderstanding?
Okay, so basically they had to weigh out sort of two options, and one option would have been to get one big large lump sum and pay off all their creditors and then start anew. And that would have been probably the most sort of morally correct thing to do, but it would have left the city pretty much right back where it was in terms of having expenditures that were higher than their revenue coming in. And so what they opted to do instead is to continue with their plan that's going to make their creditors take a haircut, and instead of getting a large lump sum that pays off those creditors, they're going to then have that money directed towards making sure that they have a proper balance in their budget where they have more revenue coming in than their expenditures that are set up. And so,
doesn't the fire deal also increase their revenue because the direct payment that'll come from the tax increase or the property tax will pay the fire now, so the money that they had previously used to pay fire will also become available for the general fund?
Yes, and again, they had a large annual deficit, and they have some expenditures that are outside of their control that are still continuing to rise. The primary one being...
Thus the bankruptcy, right?
Yeah, with the primary one being pensions. And so that is why they're trying to sort of increase revenues this way as best they can and offload as much of their expenses as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a chance. What I'm worried about is that there's talk about other cities like Stockton and Vallejo finding themselves in bankruptcy again because they didn't solve the problems that led them to bankruptcy in the first place.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid, I don't have any insider knowledge. I'm afraid that the San Bernardino will find itself in the same position.
So San Bernardino has made some significant changes. I'm concerned they haven't made enough, but again, I'm not privy to the detailed books like I was when I was on the council. So, I just get the broad strokes now, and it seems to me that they've made some significant changes. One of the ones that occurred in the bankruptcy was they started having the employees pay the employee share of pension costs at 50%. So in the past, the city paid all of it, and even if they had stayed with the agreement where the employees paid a portion, the employee portion was much smaller than what the city portion was. But now they've looked at that whole chunk of what needs to be paid to the pension, and they've essentially agreed the city will pay half of what's owed and the employee will pay half of what's owed. So I think that was a pretty major agreement. And my understanding is, and we'll have to look at the fine details when we see the agreement with the fire union on Thursday, but they got the police union to agree to that in their contract. I believe the fire will include that as well. That's a major step going forward because the pension costs have risen dramatically and are projected to continue to rise dramatically for the next several years.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, if I'm hearing you, it sounds like they really have addressed some of these structural issues.
They have.
And we don't of course know if they've addressed all of them. We can't know that because we're not on the inside.
My only sort of take on that I would disagree with them is I wish that they had, instead of putting so much on the employees with a 50-50 share, that they had been able to actually get some concessions from CalPERS, which they did not. They made CalPERS whole. And that would be my one area where I feel that they missed an opportunity in this bankruptcy. And this judge and several other judges around the state have made rulings that CalPERS could have been forced to make some sort of concession, but they didn't want to test that. They didn't want to keep fighting them, and they opted to do it this way instead.
So I'm going to ask one more question. We have about 30 seconds left. Is San Bernardino then going to have a difficult time hiring employees if so much of wages have to go towards their pensions?
Well, that's a good question. I wish I had a good answer for that. I don't know. I think that is going to be something that employees will balance out. They'll look at other places and say, which is the better deal. I don't know. That's certainly the argument the unions have made, is that this deal makes it hard for them to recruit.
So it is 6:31, time for another break. When we get back, it'll be Todd's Tech Time. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Here's the latest. I'm Jake Corwin. With less than a week to go before the crucial Iowa caucuses, the three Democratic presidential candidates making their last bid. During a CNN forum in Des Moines last night, Bernie Sanders defended his record on guns.
Gun lobbies said, vote for either the Democrat or Republican. Don't vote for Bernie Sanders. This is 1988. Because Bernie thinks that we should not be selling military-style assault weapons in the United States.
Sanders, of course, in a tight race with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The Michigan Attorney General's office looking into ways to get financial relief to people who are charged for contaminated water in Flint. The city's water has been tainted by lead and could spread E. coli or even Legionnaire's disease. 3 men who escaped from a Southern California jail are now facing new charges. Authorities say the trio will be charged with felony escape. They've been out since Friday. Officials call them very dangerous. The nation's airlines aren't canceling nearly as many flights today. Airports and airlines say normal schedules could return this afternoon. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have completely stopped traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and the 15. It's slow and go from McKinley to Green River. The 71 south is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Murrieta, stop and go traffic on the 15 southbound between the 215 and Rainbow Valley Boulevard. In Moreno Valley, stop and go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and East Ridge Avenue. In Chino, slow traffic on the 60 westbound between Mountain Avenue and Central Avenue. The 210 West is slow from Mountain to San Dimas. The 10 West is slow in pockets from Euclid to the 57. In Montclair, there's a disabled vehicle. The center lane is blocked on the 10 westbound at Central Avenue. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cahalco Road. It's slow in pockets from Wyrick to the 91, and again from Limonite to Harupa. South is slow from Hidden Valley Parkway to the 91. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got a wind advisory in effect till 11 o'clock this morning. So we've got sunny skies and a high near 70. Tonight, mostly clear with a low near 44. Mostly sunny with a high near 72 on Wednesday. Wednesday night, partly cloudy skies, a low near 48. Thursday, sunny with a high near 76. Thursday night, mostly clear, low near 49. Friday, sunny with a high near 77. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low near 50. Saturday, a chance of showers, mostly sunny skies, high near 71. Saturday night, chance of showers, mostly cloudy, a low near 48. Chance of showers Sunday, mostly cloudy, high near 59. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Hi, it's Dave Collins in Snow Country. Isn't it great in the middle of the winter when you can head to a mountain and find out that almost every single trail that you want to ski and ride down is open for your pleasure, plus terrain parks with jumps and jibs and some stashes of fresh powder left over? That's what you'll find at almost any mountain within our listing area. Snow Summit right now with over 2 dozen trails as they ski at 100% and 12 lifts to take you to the top of the mountain. June with 20 inches of snowfall over the past week, so definitely some stashes of fresh powder left over for you there. They've got 35 runs, 100% of their terrain is open for you. China Peak skiing at 100% on packed powder and fresh powder. Also Sugar Bowl with 2 feet of snowfall in the past week. They're up to almost 100 trails. Sunrise Park in Arizona skiing at 100%. That's packed powder on 65 runs, over 40 trails at Arizona Snow Bowl. Up north, Mount Bachelor picked up 1.5 feet of snowfall over the past week. They've got 88 trails for you to ski and ride down. There's more at snowcountry.com. I'm Dave Collins on KCAA 1050 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Hi, this is Steve Aladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. With property values increasing, this might be the perfect time to do a loan checkup to see if it makes sense to refinance. Do you have an equity line? If your equity line is getting close to 10 years old, your payment is about to fully amortize. Coupled with the certainty that the feds will soon increase short-term rates, there might be a substantial jump in payment on your line of credit. If we combine your current loan, equity line, and possibly even some of your credit debt, there could be a substantial reduction in what you have to pay each month. Do you have VA eligibility? VA will allow 100% cash-out financing. This may be a perfect time to use your eligibility. We can go 85% cash out with FHA or 80% with a standard conventional loan. There are many possible options that could make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner to provide you with all of your possible options. Give me a call, Steve Aladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
This is KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Hey, Brandon, can we play the Todd's Tech Time theme song?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's
I have a big boo-boo lip here going, no song.
No song.
Where's Weird Science?
Is he looking for it? Looking for it? All right, so there we go.
Why don't people understand my intention?
All right, take it, Todd.
Oh, now I am complete. So, Tobin, you're a runner. I know you're a Fitbit fan, Aaron. I think you have a Fitbit. A lot of people have activity trackers. They become very, very popular and part of sort of the consciousness of tracking and measuring our daily activity and using that information to help us stay more active and stay healthier. And there's now sort of a subset of activity trackers that have been designed for our pets. The FitBark dog activity monitor is $99.95 at Amazon, and it does for the dog very much what Fitbit does for the individual. So if you think you've got a lazy dog, you might want to go get a FitBark. Something that you guys might ever consider for your dogs?
Actually, yeah, I would kind of be interested to know.
Really? I had the opposite reaction. I'm thinking that's not going to affect the dog's behavior. The dog can't read it. So,
No, but
it would have.
If you saw that your dog was not being very active, it might get you off your butt to go walk your dog more, right? I mean, if you felt like this was something that your dog needed for their health.
Well, one of my dogs is kind of chunky, and I don't visually see that he's any less active than the other ones. But, other than the fact that he seems to look like he struggles when he's maybe getting up on the couch. But my dogs are very small. The Fitbit, the FitBark tracker is relatively small, and it's about almost a half-inch thick. About an inch and a quarter high and inch and a half, about almost just shy of 2 inches wide, which on a large dog's nothing. It will just disappear on their collar and you won't even notice it's there. On a smaller dog, it's going to look a little strange. But one of the things that was pointed out in the article introducing it was that it's one of the lightest trackers out there. Yeah, here it is. It's 1.1 high by 1.6 wide and only 0.4 of an inch thick. But it weighs 0.25 ounces, so it's only a quarter of an ounce. So it's a very light little device. So you're not going to put some big old box on your dog's collar and then watch them tilt forward like poor Max on the Grinch, as their back legs come up off the ground. Even for a fairly tiny dog, a quarter of an ounce is not going to be significant. So some of the things that they do, this particular device has built-in Wi-Fi. And allows the dogs to then, as long as they're in their Wi-Fi signal of your house, be able to report how much activity they're doing. And it saves their activity and then syncs back up when it comes back into Wi-Fi. So like if it moves outside of the Wi-Fi area, if some people don't have Wi-Fi necessarily covering their entire yard, as we've talked about in the past, there's sometimes Wi-Fi spots in your coverage that are better than others. And it's charged via a USB connector. So you have to take it off of your dog and charge it up every few days. But, it'll go several days. They say 10 to 14 days. In practice, that'll probably decline over a period of time as the battery gets a little bit weaker. But it gives you a pretty nice little online dashboard of your dog activity and time of day, so you can see when your dog's the most active and when it's lazy and laying around. I think most people notice that their dogs tend to spend a long chunk of time laying around, but then they can become super active for certain periods of time. And so it gives you the same type of things that it does with the individual. It tells you what how many steps or how much movement they've had in a specific time, and you can set a goal. And as the owner, when you're viewing that, if they haven't hit their goal, that just like you maybe get up and take a walk or get up and move around the house, it's time to grab your dog, put the collar on, and go take them for a walk. So in a sense, it actually works for the owner as well as for the dog.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. I mean, I think for me, it would motivate me to get up and take the dog. I mean, if I felt like my dog was not getting the activity that he needed or she needed, I would take her on a walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that in a sense, it's sort of a roundabout activity tracker for the human, right?
Yeah.
You attach it to the dog, but it's like the dog doesn't know that it's not been active enough, or it's been and so the human's the one who actually says, "Oh, got to get up and move this dog around." And how do you get a dog to move around? Well, you put a collar, put a leash on him, and you take him out for a walk, which frankly they need.
I'm a competitive person too, Todd. So if the dog is getting more activity than me, then we're this is on, man. I'm
That's right. You're going to go take the walk and leave the dog to stay fat.
That's right.
You're going to beat this dog one way or another, right?
That's right.
There are other devices.
I will taunt the dog too. I will be like in his face, "Booyah! I did more than you did."
The dog's looking at us like, "Give me food. Just give me some food. Scratch my ears." There are a few devices out there that also compete with the FitBark. Whistle Activity Monitor for dogs and Attractive Motion Pet Activity Tracker are about $80. Also available on Amazon, and they do similar types of things with similar types of monitoring. So they're a little less expensive. The device is going to be a little bit larger, a little bit heavier in each of those instances. They've been out on the market a little bit longer. The TAGG, T-A-G-G Pet Tracker is actually a little different. It has a GPS built into it. So it not only tracks your dog's activity and heart rate and stuff. It's got two little like metal prongs that come out and kind of go through the fur, and they're not pointy, but they press through the fur so that they can get to the skin, and it actually tracks like heart rate of your animal as well. So it's a little bit more advanced, just like with some of the different Fitbits. You can get a more advanced device. It's $100 as well, but it does have a monthly fee, subscription fee, in order to keep that active. But you can also then use the GPS, and whenever the dog is in range of your Bluetooth on your phone, it will identify where it's at or tell you where it's been.
Nice.
So it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in, but it has Bluetooth built in. So
if Fido gets out, then you can actually use it to find him. It could be a LoJack for your dog too.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there's a few other things like that. I don't know if you've seen some of these other devices. There's a company called Tile that makes a device that's literally a little white square that's about barely over 1 by 1 inch square, and maybe a little over a 1/16 of it or 1/8 of an inch thick. And it's designed to like put on keychains or other things like that and identify where you're at.
Yeah.
And I've read of some people putting those on their pets as well, clip that on the collar, because it's Bluetooth and it runs off of a little battery for a year. So you don't have to replace it for a year, the battery. But it, because it's Bluetooth, it only works, the 30 feet or so from your phone. But anybody else who has a Tile app running on their phone, the Bluetooth will, if it gets within range of the Bluetooth for somebody else, it'll identify its location. It won't tell that person where it is, but it will identify the location and come back through the internet to you.
Nice.
So like
cool.
If you left your keys sitting at the grocery store and say somebody else was driving you and you got back home and somebody who happened to have the app on their phone walked within 30 feet of it at the store, it would be identified as, hey, last place we saw it was at the store.
Nice.
And that person wouldn't be notified, but you would. And so it sort of uses a net of people. And the app will tell you how many people in your area, and I don't know how big the area is, area being air quoted, but it'll tell you how many people in your area have the app on their device. So that then increases the likelihood of something that you've tagged being identified as where it's at. And that's a pretty interesting thing. And that's available at Target. It was over the holidays, and obviously as well as on Amazon as an alternative type of thing. And those only cost about $25 per.
So it's time for a break. It's 6:46. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California. We are KCAA.
In the mood for some great Chinese food? Well, Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is where you need to be. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food not only has a delicious dinner menu, they also offer delicious lunch specials, including their yummy fried rice and chow mein. But get this, it also includes any 2 items just for $5.85. Or you can get any 1 item for only $4.85. You should also try their Big Bowl special for just $4.10. The service is fast and friendly. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is located at 256 Carousel Mall in San Bernardino, California. To contact Mr. Yu's Chinese Food, call 909-383-0195. Again, that's 909-383-0195. And yes, the Carousel Mall is still open. That's right!
Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company has been serving the greater Inland Empire for over 60 years. For all of your printing needs, from full-color printing to high-speed copying and everything in between, go to Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. Their staff is committed to your total satisfaction. Great service isn't just lip service at Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company. It's the way they do business year after year. Having trouble finding drafting supplies? Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company still carries a complete selection. Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company is rated high in customer satisfaction by Value Star, an independent rating company. For all of your personal or business printing, call Redlands Blueprint and Commercial Printing Company at 909-792-3478. That's 792-3478, or visit them on New York Street in Redlands off the I-10 and the Crosstown Freeway.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan inviting you to talk sports with the Open Season Crew Thursdays at 3 o'clock right here on KCAA.
For more local radio every day, listen to KCAA.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast to be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. And one of the issues that we've talked about actually several times on this show, because we're parents of millennials, and Brandon, of course, is a millennial, is that millennials really aren't driving like we did when we were teenagers. They're not getting their driver's licenses until much later. And, apparently driving isn't cool anymore. Tobin, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this has actually got some of the automakers pretty upset because they're looking at the statistics and the number of folks that are driving is going down, getting licenses going down, which means the number of people to be buying cars is going down. And so this is going to have an impact on their bottom line. So let me give you some of the article here. So once upon a time, getting your driver's license was the best thing that could happen to a teenager. It meant freedom, fun, escape. These days, however, apps, video games, and virtual reality seem to be way more appealing. The percentage of young people with driver's licenses plunged during the last several years, according to a new study by the University of Michigan's Transportation Research Institute. In 2008, for instance, 65% of 18-year-olds had a driver's license. Now, it's only 60%. The trend has been underway for decades, but seems to have intensified since the recession that began at the end of 2007. In all age groups from 16 to 69, the percentage of Americans with licenses has fallen since 2008. Above 70, it's inched up from 78% to 79%. But in the younger ages, it has gone down. Auto sales have been strong during the last few years, hitting record levels in 2015. But analysts expect a slight increase for sales in 2016 for another record year. But that may largely be due to pent-up demand among consumers who had put off buying a car when the economy was weak and are only now catching up. Fewer licensed drivers, meanwhile, portends fewer car buyers in the future. And Todd, you and I were talking about how technology is kind of driving people's car buying decisions, and I think that's another part of this article as well.
I think it is. Frankly, Aaron said that driving's not cool. Driving is still cool. Millennials just aren't cool. I mean, come on. Actually, I think my experience is that they're not the ones waiting at the DMV at 16, but when they eventually do get their driver's licenses, they like driving. They like the freedom it brings them. They're going like, wow, why did I wait so long for this? But part of it was just expenses. I mean, it's expensive for insurance. It's expensive to get a car. And a lot of them don't have part-time jobs when they're in high school anymore because they're working. The stress is to make sure that you keep your GPA up so that you can get into not just a college, but the college that you want to get into. And so they've shifted their focus a little bit. And they come to it later. I think that we're probably okay in the long run. But I'm sorry, to go back to the tech thing, there's actually been a couple things, studies now showing that people are now coming onto car lots and saying, well, do you have a car that will use Apple CarPlay because I have an Apple phone? Or do you have one that uses Google's in-car system so that it integrates with my technology better? And that's how people are looking at their cars. They're not going, gosh, I want the one that has the 302. engine. I want the one that my phone attaches to better.
Yeah.
Well, it seems that millennials are less materialistic than the Xers and definitely less than the baby boomers. And so, it's even our son who's making good money now. When he's looking for a car, he was looking for cars that were really cheap because he wanted something that wasn't expensive. He didn't want to have to pay a lot of money for it. And before it, we would think about things as, oh, what can I afford? I want to get the best car I can afford. He's thinking, no, what do I need? And it's really a different mindset when buying a car.
Yeah, well, the status now isn't necessarily the car, right? I mean, in the old days, that was a thing. In fact, what was the rappers were all stealing the things off the front of the car so they could show their status, right? So having a nice car was considered status. Nowadays, people don't really care. I think our kids, at least, would rather spend their money on other things, right? So as long as the car gets you from point A to point B, they don't care about the status. That for them, the status is saying, hey, I got to go to this concert with my friends, or I've got to go do something or experience something, and they're more interested in those kinds of things versus the materialism of, I've got the nicest car, ha, ha, ha.
So let's ask our resident millennial, Brandon, what do you think about all of this?
So I actually did not get a license until I was 20.
Okay.
And that was mostly due to the cost of it all. And honestly, I was scared because of the cost of it all. Not only did I have to worry about the cost of a car, but the cost of insurance and the cost of repairs on that car, because I definitely couldn't afford a new car. I had a part-time job through high school, and that still didn't change things very much. So yeah, it was mostly a cost thing, and I couldn't possibly afford that sort of thing.
Now, your generation is less uncomfortable with public transportation than previous generations. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely. And part of it is also that for most schools, if you go to that school, you can ride the bus for free.
Yeah, I know that my daughter in Davis does that. I mean, it's with your student ID, you can use the city bus systems to move around pretty easily. And let's face it, once you're if you're living resident on a college campus, for the most part, you don't have to leave campus very much. I mean, they're set up as small cities, and you just don't have to leave.
Yeah, the other thing too is that there's lots more options too, and the article even talks about things like Lyft and Uber, and so people have other options today instead of necessarily buying a car for themselves. If you're not doing a lot of driving, it might be a lot cheaper to just take Uber or hop on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know the millennials that I know do that as well. Even if they have a car, sometimes they choose not to use it because it's more effective to call Uber, or if they know they're going to be out with friends, it's like Uber's the better way to get home.
Yep.
Uber's a designated driver.
Absolutely.
And as long as they don't have their surge pricing, it's pretty economical to take a ride-sharing service.
I wonder if they'll do a study to see if drunk driving has gone down in areas where Uber is widely used.
I don't know. They might.
Because I think it's certainly more convenient than the traditional taxi cab system. I mean, I think that people are opting for Uber versus a cab.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or trusting that their friend won't imbibe.
Yeah, and it's very popular, both Uber and Lyft, around college campuses.
Yep.
Because a lot of them don't have cars, or like you said, they do have cars. They're going to, they're going out on a Friday night and don't necessarily want to be responsible for having, everybody in their car getting them home.
Yep.
I have to say, so our daughter was 18 when she got her driver's license, and she was nervous about it, especially driving Tobin's truck. She was very nervous about it. Now she's completely comfortable. And as soon as she got her driver's license and started to feel comfortable behind the wheel, she was thinking, wow, why did I wait so long? That was her reaction. And she loves it now, and it's really handy now. But I think that there was this thought that, it's going to be too expensive. It's scary. It's all of these things. And it took her a while to get to that point where she wanted to even take the test.
You mentioned the scary thing. I think a lot of times too, these kids, they grew up with these, the scare tactics that they did on their high school campus with like the every 10 seconds or every 30 seconds or whatever. With
all this red asphalt.
Yeah. And so these kids have this real sense that, if you get behind the wheel, you're going to die in a horrible accident. And
it's funny because, when I was going to high school, they never did anything like that. In fact, I remember, I know I've told you this story. My 16th birthday happened to fall on a Saturday, and we went and found the DMV. There was one DMV open on a Saturday at that point in time, and we drove miles to go to that DMV so I could get my license that day. And I think it was just a slightly different attitude, and I don't think the insurance was as much, and a cheap used car didn't cost as much, and it's just the situation. The economics have changed a lot.
Yeah. Economics is definitely driving a lot of this.
Now, I got my license when I was 19, but I was living on a college campus where if you lived on campus, you couldn't have a car. And so, I had a different scenario, a different situation. And with that, we are completely out of time. It is 6:59. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And I'm Todd Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Have a great day, everybody.
This is KCAA Loma Linda. CNBC News is next. Brought to you by BuySellMakeOffer.com. Go there now and join the thousands who have already signed up for a new and exciting way to buy and sell online, launching January 15th.
Stocks are set for a higher open today as oil struggles to remain above $30 per barrel. Meantime, the Chinese markets get slammed again, the Shanghai Composite dropping more than 6%, hitting its lowest level in more than a year. The Federal Reserve begins its two-day policy-setting meeting today. No move is expected, but traders will be looking for any clues of future rate hikes that will be released tomorrow afternoon. And we have a bumper crop of earnings today. Sprint reporting a smaller quarterly loss. The nation's number 4 wireless carrier was helped by cost cuts and more new subscribers. And Apple is set to weigh in after the bell. The tech giant is expected to report that iPhone sales increased slightly more than 1%, its slowest growth ever for the device. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Call 877-319-6988. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Call 877-319-6988. Programming starting as little as $29.99, plus access to thousands of movies and TV shows. Stream to your TV, smartphone, or tablet. Call 877-319-6988. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get Dish today.
There are times being a genius would really come in handy.
All right, since Jess and I only ordered 3 drinks and split the chicken, and you guys ate about 3/4 of the guac, but Tim only left us $15, not including tax and tip, I'm thinking Hal and Karen split a third of the bill 2 ways, so you guys each take on 12%. Does that seem fair?
But thankfully, you don't need to be a genius to do your own taxes, because TurboTax's Explain Why feature helps you understand the math behind your refund. Intuit TurboTax. Taxes done smarter. Feature availability varies by product and platform.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's BuySellMakeOffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found BuySellMakeOffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with BuySellMakeOffer.com. You should too. BuySellMakeOffer.com.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, there's a disabled vehicle. The shoulder is blocked on the 91 westbound before Lincoln Avenue. An earlier stalled car has been moved out of lane. Traffic is backed up to McKinley and stays slow to Green River. East is slow from Adams to Madison. 71 south is slow from Euclid to 91 to the 91. In Chino, stop and go traffic on the 60 westbound between Central Avenue and Ramona Avenue. Chino 60 west is slow from Central to the 57. The 210 west is slow from Mountain to San Dimas. The 10 west is slow from Central to Indian Hill. In Moreno Valley, stop and go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and East Ridge / Eucalyptus Avenue. Moreno Valley 215 north is slow from Alessandro to Blaine. South is slow from La Cadena to the 6091 split. The 60 west is slow from Heacock to the 215. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cajalco Road. It's slow in pockets from Wyrick to the south, to the 10. South is slow from the 210 to Baseline and again from the 10 to the 60. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
With your Tuesday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Station leaves no listener behind. California ranks high among the states with the best integration level among whites and blacks in racial progress. Segregation and discrimination, though still prevalent in some areas of the U.S., are no longer as pervasive as they were in the civil rights era. But prominent incidents of police brutality against blacks during the past several years have threatened to reverse decades of social progress. A 47-year-old man arrested for allegedly robbing a man and threatening him with a 10-inch screwdriver Saturday just shortly after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Deputies stopped an intoxicated man walking near Highland and Palm Avenues. James Juarez was initially uncooperative and would not provide his correct name. As he was being detained, a male victim flagged the deputy down and identified Juarez as the man who tried to rob him earlier that day. Juarez allegedly approached the man demanding money. The victim able to run away, then call 911. Homemade bomb left behind by the husband and wife who perpetrated a mass shooting at a social services center failed to detonate it because it was poorly constructed. Investigators believe the couple intended to detonate the improvised explosive device placed in a bag left at the center to kill emergency responders or possibly before their attack. The couple had the remote with them in their rented SUV. It was found after the shootout. Authorities still trying to figure out how an airplane ended up upside down at the Big Bear Airport Monday morning. No pilot found inside the upturned craft. Doesn't appear anyone was injured. How the plane ended up in its top, not clear. The call came through to emergency dispatch services at about 8:45 at the airport at 501 Valley Boulevard. The plane upside down on the runway. Investigations ongoing. That's your news. I'm Jim Miller.
This is KCAA.
Waters. He's a contributor to the Fox Business Channel and the author of the Best Stocks Now newsletter. He's president of Gunderson Capital Management, and he's here, live on the Wall Street Business Network. Here is Bill Gunderson.
And welcome to the Tuesday morning. It is the January 26th live edition of the Best Stocks Now radio hour. Looks like we do have some Best Stocks Now today. The market is actually having a pretty good start to the day. We've got the Dow up 189 points right now. 189 points. That puts it at 16,075. The Dow seems to want to hold that 16,000 level for now. We'll see. We've got the S&P up 13 points right now to 1890. That's a good start to the day. We're going to be happy with that, aren't we? Oil is up a little bit here. That's helping the markets. Oil up above 30 again. That seems to be the line in the sand right now. Now, it got down to 26 very briefly, and now we've got it back above $30 a barrel at $30.07. It is up actually here this morning. What else do we have going on? We have the NASDAQ right now. The NASDAQ is up about, let's see, I'm not getting a print on the NASDAQ here. Why not? We're having a little trouble with Yahoo. We're going to have to go to a different site here, aren't we? But the NASDAQ is also up this morning. You know, mostly what I'm seeing is a couple of big stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The Nasdaq's up 6 points, 45.24. A couple of big stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average are having a good day here after they beat earnings this morning before the open of the market. We've got interest rates. Well, they're going to await that Fed meeting to see what goes on there. That Fed meeting begins today. Will trickle in to tomorrow, and then they'll announce their decision. Most people expect the Fed to pause. The word is pause. Pause from the first rate hike, and then they hinted at 4 more this year, but most people expecting a pause. Look at that. The Dow's up 217 points right now. The S&P is up 16. Silver's even up 18 cents. I haven't seen silver up in a long time. We'll get Apple reporting earnings in the after hours today. That's always interesting to watch. What will Apple do? Apple usually is a market leader. And we've got other companies that have reported today. Quite a few, actually, which we'll get to here in a bit. Global stock rout overnight. Well, this is now. Okay. So welcome to the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with professional money manager Bill Gunderson, president of Gunderson Capital Management, and very sunny. I couldn't believe how clear it was this morning when I got up and was driving to work along the ocean there. It was a full moon, and it was still dark outside, and the full moon was reflecting off of the ocean. It was really pretty, and as the waves broke right next to the cliffs there, the full moon was glinting off of those waves, and they looked like diamonds, actually. I said, that's going to be a good day in the market today. And so far, it is up 213. Okay, but overnight we did have a global stock rout as oil went down again, but right now we've got oil going up, so we have volatile overnight sessions now in the market. In fact, the futures were very volatile. They were about flat, and then they were way down this morning, and then, of course, the market's now up 210 points. The FOMC, that's the Federal Open Market Committee, Janet Yellen and her gang of curmudgeons, they gather today and tomorrow. Did they make a big mistake? They'll be discussing that in last December when they raised interest rates. Now, they raised interest rates because they felt like the economy was was strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet, didn't need as much help from the Fed. And since then, it seems like we've had a lot of bad news globally and even here in our own economy. And so they'll be gathering today and tomorrow to discuss what to do. Most people expect no change in interest rates, but they'll also be listening to what the Fed has to say about the next interest rate. How long will it be until the next interest rate hike? And that's the way it goes. It goes on and on and on. Overnight, the Chinese markets got clobbered, down 7.6%. I continue to have an inverse ETF on the Chinese markets because I feel that's like one of the weak spots in the world right now. In fact, I believe right now in having long and short positions. Short positions, in other words, inverse ETFs in the most vulnerable areas of the market, and long positions in the areas of the market that are still holding up. That's why it's a day full of little decisions for me once again today. There is talk that the Saudis and the Russians are talking about oil production cuts. They've seen what non-cuts have done, driving oil down from 107 to 27, $80 per barrel. Maybe it's time to put in some production cuts there, boys. And there is talk, at least. I haven't seen any action yet, but there is talk that they will cut production, and that would send oil prices higher or maybe put in a bottom. Johnson & Johnson beats earnings by 2 cents. Let's see how big Johnson & Johnson is doing today. They're a member of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and that's helped pushing the Dow higher. It is up $1.81 now is that stock, and that's helping part of those 212 Dow points that we're up right now. Another big horseman in the Dow, DuPont also reporting earnings today. They beat earnings by 2 cents. Now, here's something you're going to hear a lot during this earnings season. They beat on earnings, but they miss on revenues. That's sales. And that's pretty much the theme that we've had now for the last several earnings seasons. They beat on earnings, but they miss on revenues. That's what DuPont does. DuPont is down 43 cents right now. Meanwhile, Procter & Gamble, another member of the Dow, I told you it's a big day for earnings, and there's another reason why the market's up today. Procter & Gamble's up $2